Hey everybody, it's Christina. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be playing with the newest release from Honeybee Stamps. I purchased this as soon as I saw it because I was really excited about it. So I am going to be playing and making a card today using those new dies, and we will go ahead and get playing. So I have the mini postcards, the lovely layouts posted, and then I also have the postmarked stamps. So that is what we're going to be playing with. And then we also have the Vintage Love paper collection, which this is my first time ever using any of their paper. And oh my goodness, this collection is gorgeous. Those patterns are just beautiful. So I am going to be playing with a couple pieces from the collection today. I put out two different pieces. I'm going to be using this one right here, and then this kind of more marbled one right here. First thing I want to do is I want to get my card base together because I'm going to do some inking today since we're going to go with the whole vintage vibe, which I'm really excited about. I'm starting off a piece of craft cardstock, which is going to be an A2 size card. So it's cut at 5.5 by 8.5. And then we are going to do a score line at 4.25. So I'm just going to go ahead and score this up. My card's all ready. I have the mini postcard die right here. I'm going to cut that onto the craft cardstock. And then from the lovely layers, I have the postage stamp edge die here. And then I have another frame from there that I'm going to die cut onto this pattern paper. So I will be right back and we'll start working on our card. I have everything die cut. And before I start doing anything else, I want to go ahead and do some stamping. I'm going to take one of my little postcards here, put them inside of my press, and I have one of those grip mats inside here, but for some reason it doesn't want to hold my cardstock. It might be time for this to be washed. I'm going to grab from this postmarked set a couple of the stamps. I think I'm going to go with this bird cage because it's adorable. We're going to put that right on this side of the postcard. Maybe even add a little bit of an angle. And then I'm even going to grab the little wavy, little wavy lines that usually on the edge of a postmarked stamp. So I'm going to die cut, or I'm going to stamp this out first with some Archival ink, because Archival ink dries fast and it won't bleed when I do my blending with some distress ink, which I'm going to do a little bit of distressed ink edges. So I'm going to ink this up. And I'm okay that it's not completely, I mean, I could stamp it again, but I think I want it to be a little, imperfect because I want it to look like an older postcard. So I have an idea. And I think I'm going to take this little stamp here that has a little saying on it. And I'm going to even stamp that onto. The only thing is you can't tell if it's in the right direction. So I'm going to assume that it goes this way. I'm going to stamp that right there. I'm going to put the little postage edge. Whoops. And we are going to stamp that out. I brought out my Scorched Timber Distress Ink, which is the brand new distress ink, and this is the first time I'm getting a chance to play with it. Get this back in here, and I'm going to ink up those stamps with the Scorched Timber ink. Oh, I like that. That looks pretty cool. All right. That is perfect. I'm not going to do anything with that other stamp. I'm just going to clean this off. So I have my postcards, my two die pieces, and my card base. So I am going to do some distress ink on the end, or the edge of my card, and all over the edges of all of these pieces. So I'm just going to blend that in. Now the card, most of this covers the card, but I don't want that real crisp craft showing through, so I'm just distressing it just a little bit just to give it that more vintage kind of look rather than it being that stark craft. Although craft cardstock is pretty muted, but it's gonna think the contrast between all of this after I ink it would look a little different. So I am gonna set that aside, and then we will ink this edge up. I love the way this turned out. This scorched timber goes fantastic with the craft cardstock. I just love the way it adds to the edges and just gives it that old postcard kind of look. The same thing even with this cardstock. Like, it just brings out the edges. I love that. I think the scorched timber is my new favorite. So I have all of this ready. Before I do anything else, I am going to bring out something else to play with because I think this needs a little bit of a wax seal. I don't think I've ever done a wax seal on camera before, but I've been really enjoying these. So I have the Spellbinders WAX SEAL set, which is a great little set. It comes with everything you need to get started. And I am going to light up my tea light here. And this is just a little candle lighter that I've had for years, and I just use that to light my tea light. So I'm just going to set my tea light, or my little base here. This base right here holds your spoon for while your wax is melting. And I have all of my little beads for wax in here. So I'm going to use this one called Driftwood, which is a real pretty color, and I thought that would look nice with my card here. So I'm going to put my spoon in here, and I'm going to drop in 4 of these beads. And 4 is because it's a fresh container. If I still had some wax in here, I was making more of them, I probably would let this only use 3 of them. So we're going to let that melt up. I'm going to use this Love You seal. So we're just letting this melt. And I am using my little stirrer here just to make sure there's no chunks of that wax in there. I have a piece of paper toweling just to wipe off my spoon. And one of the things I learned from watching videos is to pour close to where you're going to pour. So you're going to hold your spoon close to where you're going to pour. And just let it fall from the spoon. So once I have that on there, I am going to use my paper towel just to wipe off some of that edge. You stick that back on there. And then when you're taking your seal, all you're going to do is just go very slowly and set it into place. And that's all it takes. So I'm just going to let this sit for a minute or two. I'm going to clean off my spoon, blow out my candle, clean off my spoon. For cleanup, I just use a paper towel just to make sure everything's cleaned up. And by the time I'm done cleaning up, this should be pretty much set. Perfect. I love it. So we have this cute little Love You seal. And if you're not happy with this, like this did not come out perfect, so I'm probably going to go ahead, light up my candle again, remelt it, and re-pour it so I get a little bit of a better look to that seal. Okay, that is way better. A little bit more perfect, actually. So we are going to go ahead and start putting everything together. I'm going to start putting my card together. I'm just using some liquid glue here to add to the back of this postage edge piece that I die cut. And that is going to get adhered right to my card base. And this is just about the same exact size as that card front. So that is why I wanted to have that just more distressed look on that craft cardstock as my card base, so that it didn't exactly, stand out that it was a stark craft cardstock. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our little decorative die cut here. And then I'm just going to set this right in the center. And I like to use the liquid because then the liquid glue, because then it gives me a chance to be able to move things around a little bit. So now for these, I am going to pretty much leave these just as like a two-piece. So we have two of them right onto here. I think for this one, I'm going to adhere it straight down. And the other one, I'm going to pop up with some dimension and use some foam tape. Want to get that so it's laying flat. So I'm going to put a block on the top, and while that's drying, I'm going to grab some of my foam tape, and I'm going to use some of my thinner square foam pieces. I have a piece of ribbon that I folded over and used a glue dot to hold into place, but I have my Love You wax seal, and I'm thinking I'm going to bring out something that I haven't used in a long time and see if I can, I can staple right through the wax seal, and then I'll adhere this down. I think we need two of the staples. Next day, Christina decided this card just needed a little bit more, so I am going to kind of up the game on this one, and I'm going to add a couple of extra things. I already went ahead and peeled this off, so we have a little bit of a boo-boo here, but that's okay, because my plan will be to cover this up. I pulled out the other half of the sheet from this paper pad. I'm going to die cut that on to this piece right here. I think I'm going to go with the lighter. I think I'm going to try out the lighter. Let's see what that looks like. I will still, no, I'm not going to try the lighter. I'm going to go with the darker side. So I'm going to try the darker side of this, and I will then ink it up. And then I want to add this little piece right here, which is going to go straight across, kind of maybe underneath my postcards. I think that's what I'm going to do, but I want to bring in a different color for that. And I was flipping through this book, and I was looking for something I can use. I was thinking something along the lines of the green color, but I think I'm going to go with this green right here. So I'm just going to cut a strip of this off. I'm not going to rip the page out, because otherwise then I have to try to store that page. But I'm going to cut just this strip off here, and then I'm going to die cut that using this band. Now these are both from that same stamp set. It's called the Lovely Layers, not stamp set, die set. It's from the Lovely Layers posted die set. And I am going to just go ahead and die cut those really quick. Okay, so I have these two pieces. I love that little scallop piece. That is so cute. And then this little piece is gonna look like a piece of lace that I could put underneath. And I think that is adorable and will be really cute. And I like that it adds a little like embossed section in there. So that is going to go right across here. Then this is going to go right over the top of that. So it kind of gives a little, I guess, a pocket kind of area. And I think this darker one is going to work out great. I was still debating on die cutting on the lighter colored side. But we're going to do a little inking of this, give it the same distressing that we have on our rest of our card. I'm just using that same ink, the Scorched Timber. Makes that a little bit darker. I kind of like it a little bit darker. And then we're going to go in the same thing with our little kind of scalloped piece here. I'm going to get the bottom of this as well. There you go. I think that's going to look nice. Let me just clean up my inky mess here now on my desk. So this is going to go across the bottom. And then I want to cover up some of the edge here. So that's where this is going to come in handy. And either that's going to go straight across the bottom or even up a little higher, I think. Go down across the edge. All right, I'm going to put this right across the bottom. I'm just going to use a pencil to mark off where I need to cut this. And I think I'm going to cut it right about here. I'll just use my scissors to do that. And then I will glue that down with just some liquid glue. I think I am just going to toss a little color on that edge, whatever's on my brush there, just to blend it in a little bit more. So I'm going to put this right across the bottom. It helps hide that little bit of an edge that I have going from this piece right here. I grab my acrylic block to hold that in place. And then this one I'm going to pop up a little bit since I have my postcards popped up. I'm going to grab those same foam adhesives. I'm going to put one layer down. I'm going to double up the foam at the bottom since it has to go over the postcards. And then I'll put a single layer up at the top. So this will just be a single one. And I'll remove the backings on this. And this will get adhered down. Just so I have placement okay, because I have a feeling I'm going to have to move this around a little bit. I'm going to add some liquid adhesive to the foam so that if I have to move things around, I'll be able to do that. And that's just going to go right down at the bottom. Make sure that's nice and straight. Perfect. And then I can come back in with my Love You, and that adds just a little bit more dimension. Now, the one thing I am going to grab are actually the sticky labels that go onto the back of the wax seals so that it'll cover the whole back. So these wax seals, I'll peel the backing off, and then I'll take the wax seal and stick it right over that label. And then when I peel it off, it'll be stuck to the paper. Right, there we go. It was sticking to the cardstock that I peeled off of that postcard. And I thought I was done with this card, so I decided to cut out a piece of that green piece that I had left over from cutting out that lacy part with the little flag banner piece from that same die set and cut that out. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of the ink that I used on the top, and I know I kind of bent that, but I'm not going to use the whole thing anyway. I think I'm going to kind of cut it off and just let it hang down right about there, I'm thinking. And that one I will just adhere straight down to the card. Put a little liquid glue on there, and then I'm going to stick that right on there. I'll grab my scissors and I will trim that off. Now that is a little bit crooked, so thank goodness for liquid glue. There we go, that's much better. And I'm going to trim that off. I'm going to flip it over so I could do it from the back side. And I can't stop myself, so here I am back with my little tiny stapler, because I feel like we need to just add a couple staples to hold that in place as well. Sometimes it really pays to come back and look at the project that you're working on, because I was not happy with how this was looking when I was done yesterday, and adding the little bit of green to this and adding that little scallop piece definitely made it a little bit more finished to me. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. All the supplies that I used are down below in the YouTube description, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.